Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to
Race
our
Rats podcast.
our final episode.
2024 season is done.
Woohoo!
We made it an entire season. A few episodes ago, I did say that we're waiting to finalize some stuff before I could speak about it. So we're going to announce now this is the end of Race Rats podcast. But it is not the end of this, I guess.
Yeah.
In a way. So life got a little bit hectic. We are both very, very busy gals.
Lots going on.
Lots going on. And the old format, or this current format of Race Rats podcast was something that I was not a fan of doing alone. Because it gets it was fun having solo yap sessions with you all, but it was weird.
Yeah.
Having you in my bedroom like that was a bit,
That's too personal.
Bit personal, a bit weird. So,
but unfortunately, because of our schedules and everything, it kind of had to be that way because I wasn't able to be there for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. So we talked it over. We hate each other now.
Yeah.
Our friendship remains intact.
Yes.
But going forward with the new season, Race Rats will be getting a rebrand. So it'll no longer be called Race Rats. It will no longer be this format. Do I want to say what the new format is now?
I mean, it's up to you.
I guess so. We won't talk about what the rebrand will be yet, but the format of the videos is going to be one of my favorite formats to watch on YouTube, at least, because it's one of those things that's like you can just put on, set and forget, and do whatever you're doing, and it's on in the background that you can just kind of listen to, I guess. And that is makeup. And we are two gals that obviously
we like makeup. We like
our makeup.
Yeah.
So going forward, it'll be kind of a motorsports and makeup. It's not even a podcast anymore.
Like Yap Fest.
Yeah.
Yap sessions. Chatting.
Yeah. Just chatting, makeup and motorsports. I'm excited for it. And obviously a lot of them will just be me. But that doesn't mean that when G is available, she's not going to jump in and join us.
I still would love to be a part.
And I still want her to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunately conflicting schedules, especially with how tight some of the race weekends got with editing and that. It just became a lot.
A lot for you, especially. She does all the editing work and all of that. So I basically just show up. So, yeah.
Yeah, it became a lot. So it'll just make our lives a lot easier. And she will still have a hand in it when she's available. He will also have a hand in it if you were wondering. But yes, she will still have a hand in it when she's available. Because we do still want her part of this. In saying that,
I thought you hated me.
I do. But anyway, no.
Whoa! See, the dogs, they were offended by that.
I didn't do shit.
You said you hate me, and they were like, hold on, we don't hate Auntie G in this house.
All right. Who do we hate, though? Yeah, that's right. Say Perez. Say it, Pumpkin. Yeah, thank you. Anyway, go to bed. In saying that, the first video of the new season, the 2025 season, when it starts, we will still do that, but there will also be a separate little vlog that we're going to film for our trip to Melbourne.
Melbourne GP. I'm excited.
Very excited.
It's going to be fun. My first ever Grand Prix. Just see it in real life and be amongst all of it.
And we're the first GP of the season.
Yeah.
Which means we're the first ones that get to see Lewis Hamilton in Ferrari,
Oh,
Carlos
yeah.
Sainz in the Williams, Gabriel Bortoleto. Oh my god, I can't say Gabriel Bortoleto in the Sauber. We get
Who?
to see one of the new rookies.
Ooh.
We get to see Kimi Antonelli in the Mercedes. We get to see Esteban Ocon and Oliver Behrman in the Haas.
That'll be fun.
We get to see whoever gets the
It'll be
Red Bull V-carb seats.
Big celebration. Big
Yeah.
deal, I think.
It's gonna be a lot of new for next year.
Yeah.
Let's jump into this week because it is the final week. It is Abu Dhabi, and so much happened with Abu Dhabi. So much happened with Abu Dhabi.
So much.
She's bursting with excitement. Okay, so let's jump straight into the last race weekend of the season of the year before they go into winter break. We go into our summer break, and there's no cars zooming around on that track for like 3 months now.
Well, the track will get cold and lonely.
Me too.
It's summer.
Yeah, I'm so lonely without the cars.
It's sweating and lonely.
Yeah, literally, it's nasty. So Abu Dhabi, the final race of the season. This is where we come down to who gets the Constructors' Championship, who gets P2 in the Drivers' Championship, and what the deciding order is. So there's a lot riding on this weekend. FP1 was run by, I think, 5 rookies. Because it was the last session that they could get their rookie tests in, their young driver tests in. We had... That's right. We had I can never say that. Rio Hirakawa in the McLaren. So Lando was out of FP1 and Rio was in. We had, for the first time ever, history-breaking Leclerc in Ferrari.
Oh, I saw some stuff about that.
Arthur Leclerc doing the testing for Ferrari.
It is kind of cute having
2 brothers on track.
Yeah.
But obviously in the timesheets you can't have Lek and Lek.
Yeah.
Like
Lek and Lek.
Obviously like that because that's what comes up as LEC for Leclerc.
Yeah.
You can't have 2 of those because then how do you differentiate?
How do you know?
So Arthur was Lel.
Lel?
Lel.
Why?
Because this has happened before. Basically, if there's 2 drivers that have the same initials, the main driver who was there first gets to keep it. The second driver, they skip that 3rd initial and go to the next one. So because Leclerc is LECL, it was LEL.
What if Leclerc was spelled LECC? LERC?
If it was LECC, it still would have gone to the next one then. If it's still the same.
What if it was triple C?
Well, then they just go to the next letter. Or honestly, it would have made more sense if they used what he used to use in like F2, which was ALE.
Oh,
like Arthur.
Yeah, okay.
That would have made more sense. They didn't go for that though. We also had Isaac Hadjar, who was in for. Am I wrong? Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. So yeah, there was 6. So there was Rio Hirakawa in the McLaren, Arthur Leclerc in the Ferrari, Isaac Hadjar in the Red Bull, Felipe Drugovich in the Aston Martin, Ayumu, yeah, I cannot speak, Iwasa, yeah, in the V-carb, and Luke Browning in the Williams.
Wait, so there's like 2 more Japanese races?
These are like young, doing testing. So they have to do 2 sessions of this each year, each season. So a lot of them leave it to like Abu Dhabi to do that final one in FP1. Because they've got to have the juniors do 2 FP1 tests. There was also another driver on the grid that wasn't supposed to be there this week. Right after Qatar finished, it was announced that Esteban Ocon had been released from his Alpine contract early and would not be doing that final race.
Wow.
Everyone got very, very upset about this because they were like, what do you mean? because that meant that Jack Doohan was stepping into his Alpine seat early. He was making his debut for Alpine in Abu Dhabi, which you would think is so exciting, except for the fact that his actual debut was supposed to be his home race here in Australia. So Alpine kind of ruined that. But everyone, basically, they turned around and said, "Oh, it's so he can do his testing with Haas."
Yeah.
This is why we've released S1 early. And I remember when this got released, I was a bit confused because it had already been announced weeks prior that Carlos was going to be doing testing with Williams straight after. So if Carlos can do that in one of the bigger teams, why would Esteban need to be released early to do the Haas one? That doesn't make sense to anyone. It then came out, and I'm so proud of Esteban for doing this. Esteban posted his final race helmet that he'd gotten made. He had a special helmet made for Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
And in his post, he says to the men and women back in Enstone, and I can't think of where their other factory is. This was not the way this is supposed to end. I'm sorry I didn't get to say goodbye to you all. Obviously, the plan was always to race that final race, but things don't always go as planned. So Alpine lied, basically, and said, "Oh, we've released him early for this." No,
Wow.
that was never the case. S1 was always supposed to be running that last race.
Oh.
Alpine,
Why did they lie?
To make themselves look better.
Surprise.
Yeah. It did come with a lot of speculation, though, because obviously there was rumours that Alpine had their eye on Colapinto, and that Jack Doohan, although he was already announced, may not be keeping that seat. So there was a lot of speculation that Abu Dhabi was kind of a test for Jack Doohan to see how he would go in that seat. So yeah, it was Jack Doohan's official start to his Alpine seat as well. FP1 was pretty uneventful. Top three. So all the rookies testing kind of ended up quite low down, which is normal. They're not used to an F1 car. It happens. Top three for FP1 were Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, and Charles Leclerc. Same with FP2. I don't think much really happened there. Other than a very surprising entrance to the top three.
Who?
Nico Hülkenberg.
Hülkenberg.
One of the Haspens.
The Haspens.
One of the Haspens.
Is that meant to be like husband or has-been?
Husband, but Haspend.
But it sounds like you're saying like a
No, it's the Haspens. It's the Hasdilfs.
Okay.
That's fine.
Nice.
The Hasdilf that still has a seat for next year, but with a different team. Because obviously he's moving over to Sauber.
Not gonna be
No, we'll speak about that at the end, but we have different names now. Yeah, top three were Hülkenberg, Piastri, and Norris. So Norris is showing great pace. And then we had FP3. So right before this all started, I think it was probably on the Friday this was kind of announced. In such a big weekend for the Constructors and Drivers Championship, for like obviously 2 onwards Drivers Championship and who was going to be taking the Constructors home this year, there's one thing that you don't really want as a team or as a driver, and that is a grid penalty.
Uh-oh.
And somebody got a 10-place grid penalty.
10 place? Big.
Not really. It comes with why. And that is having a new power unit installed. They exceeded the allocation for the year.
Right.
And that means that they get a 10-place grid penalty. It's happened to a few of the drivers already this season. Verstappen got it a few races back, is what it is. And the driver that copped that was Charles Leclerc.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
He's not going to be happy about that.
No, not in such a big weekend. You do not want that. So wherever he qualifies, he's starting 10 back from that. FP3. Final session had the top three as Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri. So this is showing great pace for the McLarens this weekend, which is not what the Ferraris want, obviously.
Not at all.
And it's hard because obviously I'm a McLaren fan first and foremost,
Yeah.
but driver-wise, it's always going to be Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris.
Yeah.
So part of me wants Carlos to do really well because it's his last race with Ferrari. So we're like, I want him to do really well.
Yeah.
But I want that constructors to come home to us at McLaren. So I'm, it outweighs it. Very much so outweighs it. So then we get into qualifying. So first 5 out for qualifying came with a little bit of a shocking and sad exit. So bottom to top, in his debut, Jack Doohan. Franco Colapinto, again, just having a rough week, man. Sucks.
That's rough, buddy.
In his last race with Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton. How did that go? Well, he started P18. That's not what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you were out in Q1.
Oh, that's not good.
Not great.
That's sad, actually.
Zhou Guanyu and completing another Williams double defeat, Alex Albon. Next 5 out. Oh, first of all, in Q1, there was almost a not so shocking exit, would have been normal, of Sergio Perez with track limit violation. But they deemed him to be inside the lines and reinstated his time. This will become important for what I'm about to say next. The next 5 out were, if I can get back into it, Kevin Magnussen, Charles Leclerc, Lance Stroll, Liam Lawson, and for a double V-carb exit, Yuki Tsunoda. Now, Leclerc only ended up out in Q2 because of a lap time deletion in the same spot. And for some reason, they thought his was definitely a violation. He was outside of track limits. But when you look at the two, both of them have their wheels outside the white lines. So yes, I do agree that Charles Leclerc should have had his lap time deleted, but so should Sergio Perez. So why did we get to keep him in? Not that it really mattered for Charles Leclerc anyway. Obviously, he wanted as good of a qualifying as he could, and this ruined that because technically with that 10-place grid penalty, Charles Leclerc should have been starting P24 out of 20 drivers.
Right.
Charles Leclerc was starting back in Qatar. We'll see him last week. It's fine.
That's funny.
So yeah, that's also not what Ferrari wanted with being hit with that penalty already this close to trying to win the constructors. It's not what you want. Top 10 though, another little surprise of the Sauber of Valtteri Bottas in 10th, Fernando Alonso in 8th, George Russell in 7th, Pierre Gasly in 6th, Max Verstappen all the way down in 5th, Nico Hulkenberg up in 4th.
Wow, okay.
Carlos Sainz in 3rd.
Not in
and
5th.
For a double McLaren front row lockout, Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris on pole.
What?
Thank you, that's my papaya boys.
Wait, but who was second? P2.
Piastri.
Oh, okay.
Papaya front row lockout.
Oh, nice.
So that's obviously doing really well for them, for the constructors, for the race.
Yeah, it looks really good.
It does.
Very good indeed.
Except for the fact that now we're going to talk about the race, and let's just talk about first up, Lando Norris, who everybody loves to make fun of how he bottles a pole position, except this year he kind of proved him quite wrong with that one. Had a great getaway at the start. Clear air, straight into it. Oscar Piastri did not have that good of a start because Max Verstappen spun him around. Max, you already won the drivers. Can you just leave everyone else alone for a minute here?
Spinning around, move out of my
Literally,
way.
that is how this went. So yeah, that knocked Piastri for a sixer, and Piastri ended up at the very back of the pack,
That's upsetting.
which is not great for
No.
constructors. Charles Leclerc did make up lots and lots of places. There was 4 DNFs this race. Because of the collision with Verstappen and Piastri, Verstappen did get a penalty for this. Shortly after this, though, Oscar ended up having a collision with Colapinto, which he then got a penalty for. It was accidental. There was a little bit of drama on the radio because of the move that Verstappen pulled that did knock Piastri out, where he basically said, "Yep, that's driver's champion mentality, I guess."
Wow.
Okay, Piastri, a little sass there.
Sassy pants.
Calm it down. So Liam Lawson, I guess just had an engine problem or something. Basically, the V carb almost blew up, and it was just smoking on track. Quite normal for a V carb.
Blew up.
So we had Liam Lawson retire. Valtteri Bottas unfortunately had to retire his car due to a puncture with the tire. Same with Franco Colapinto. His last race as an F1 driver with Williams had to retire his car, which was quite sad to see. And
that upsets me when they
it was really he spoke over the radio before the race and thanked the team for everything they'd done and all this, and that broke my heart a little bit. And then for his final race to come to an end so tragically like that, not by his own fault, it hurt. Final retiree of the race though was Sergio Perez, who he had suffered a lap 1 spin following contact with Bottas. So lap 1 in Perez. How is it anyway?
First lap.
Anyway. Other than that, it was pretty clean fighting. Lando Norris, the man that he is, kept the lead of that race. He kept that lead with a nice gap, might I add. And when he had to come in for a pit stop, this was the make or break moment, basically, because he had 2 Ferraris behind him. So this pit stop mattered. This pit stop had to be under 4 seconds or they were losing that title. Pulling through once again, McLaren have just gotten the DHL pit stop award for the year with fastest pit stop for the year with a 2.08 second pit stop.
I was going to say lucky it was McLaren because they're the...
They are they now hold the world record for Qatar last year with the 1.8.
Wow, that's
crazy. But 2.08 is now the record for this season. Wow. It was the fastest for this season. And of course it came down to that final moment.
McLaren's like, say no more.
Say no more. The mechanics over at McLaren, chef's kiss to them all. 2.08, back out ahead of Carlos Sainz, sealing the victory for McLaren. So Piastri did fight his way back from the back to, I think he got P10 in the end. So like Lando did in Qatar with the race. So again, really great pace for them. Third place went to Charles Leclerc, who had made it, obviously, very, very well. Which, because of how many places he made up, he did get driver of the day. And Carlos Sainz in second, with Lando winning. So they finally got their Car-Lando podium with Lando winning this time. But this meant that McLaren won the Constructors.
Yay!
It was such a beautiful sight. And there's a quote from Lando a few Abu Dhabis ago where where fireworks were going off. And he goes, are those for me? Because the fireworks are off for the winner. And being the cutie that he is, goes, are those for me? they obviously weren't. This year, those were for him. This year, those fireworks were for him.
That's so cute.
Being the end of the season, I'm going to say this, and I say this with my whole heart. We went into this season with Lando still fighting for his maiden win. He got his maiden win. He ended up in a title fight for the Drivers' Championship and was the closest to Max Verstappen for that title fight. And this boy that has put his heart and soul into that team just won them the constructors for the first time since 1998. Sorry, that is massive.
That's a huge year for him.
This is everything he's worked hard for, is that team, and he did it. Obviously, yes, with the help of Oscar.
Yeah.
Not discrediting anything Oscar did this year, but Lando truly is the one that sealed their fate, and I could not be prouder of him as a driver. 2025 is going to be his year. We all know it. It was very, very emotional. The team were ecstatic. There was drone lights that made out the shape of the McLaren speed mark, but there was also drone lights at one stage that made out the figures of both the drivers fist bumping. What? There is an iconic photo that I actually have made onto a shirt, and they put it as the little drone lights, and it was really, really cool to see. But McLaren brought it home. Welcome home.
Nice job, McLaren.
But let's speak about some media now, because as exciting as the race was, off track was a little bit more exciting.
It's a bit
still
spicy.
So last episode we spoke about the George Russell and Max Verstappen beef that has continued heavily. So obviously we went into media day this week. George Russell snapped back this week because he had to wait an entire week after that to be like,
yeah,
I want to say my piece.
Verstappen kind of dropped the bomb like
it was
last
great.
minute.
George Russell turns around and starts playing that "he threatened me" card. It was a whole, he threatened to put my head in a wall. Like, he said this, he said that. You know, he's so dangerous. If Abu Dhabi 21 hadn't gone his way, like, the stewards should be fearing for their lives because of him. It was a whole thing. Obviously, then Verstappen snaps back and goes, is he serious?
Those are some pretty big accusations.
Pretty big, literally.
Yeah. So
obviously then the drivers also go to their yearly, like, driver end-of-year dinner organised by Lewis Hamilton. And it's really funny because it came out after this that George Russell was the last person to arrive to this dinner, and there was 2 seats left. The drivers purposefully left 2 seats, both next to Max Verstappen.
Why did they purposely do that?
Oh, because they thought it was hilarious.
They're just trying to, like,
they're fully engaging
stoke the flames.
Yeah, they love it. So both seats were next to Max Verstappen, and of course Max, being the person he is, was like, oh, come sit down, George. George took one of those seats and moved it to the other end of the table with Lewis Hamilton. He refused.
Like, I'm not sitting anywhere near him.
He refused. So obviously, yeah, we got the end of year driver photos, which were really lovely. There was a lot of jokes about it being a gender reveal, because, like, there's Carlos and Lando sitting next to each other, and Carlos is in, like, a pink shirt and Lando's in, like, his blue Clover Motors jumper. So I was like, oh my god, it's a gender reveal. Nobody knew how funny that joke was until the next day when it was announced that Max Verstappen's going to be a dad.
What?
Max Verstappen is going to be a dad.
Actually?
Congratulations. Yeah, Kelly is pregnant.
Wow.
There was a bit of speculation about this for a while, and everyone was like, no, she's start partying, that kind of thing. Yep.
She's pregnant.
She's pregnant with her second. This is going to sound really bad of me to say this, but I feel like I have to at this point. If I had a nickel for every time Kelly Piquet ended up pregnant with a Red Bull driver's child, I would have 2 nickels, which doesn't seem like a lot. It's weird that it happened twice.
Wait, who was the other Red Bull driver?
So, oh my god, have I never told you? So, okay, my favorite piece of Max Verstappen lore is, this man is an icon to me. I love this man so much. My favorite piece of Max Verstappen lore is the fact that man goes for what he wants. And if that is your child, your wife, and your Red Bull seat, he'll take them all.
Whoa, okay.
Just ask Daniel Kvyat.
Whoa.
So yeah, you know how he's like the stepfather of Penelope,
Yeah,
Lil
yeah,
P. So yeah, she is the child of former Red Bull seat driver Daniel Kvyat,
yeah.
which Max Verstappen came in and stole his seat. Max
Damn.
Verstappen not only stole his seat, but also went on to steal his woman and child. Obviously,
Mr. Steal your girl.
Daniel is still very much part of P's life. Like Max
Yeah.
and him are fine. But that is my favorite part of Max Verstappen law is that man said, "Fuck your seat, fuck your wife. I'm taking
Mine
them all
now.
and the child too. Let's go." So yeah, Max Verstappen really did that. He is really that bitch. And yeah, now he is having his own mini Verstappen. And I'm really, really happy for him because I think he's going to be a wonderful father. Unfortunately, you know, he had a not so great childhood.
Yeah.
But that I think he's going to be a wonderful, wonderful father. He's already been asked if, you know, he's going to support his child racing or like karting. And he said, yeah, like obviously I will, but like I hope they don't want to do that. If they do want to
Really?
do that, like obviously I'll support them, but I hope they don't want to.
Wow.
He's not looking for he's not looking for a mini Verstappen.
That's
So
that's insane.
we've got Max Verstappen and minimum Verstappen.
Yeah. What about
I'm gonna let you have that joke.
max and minimum?
Yeah, maximum and minimum.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I
You
get
get it.
it.
Yeah, you got the joke sick.
Sorry,
It
no
took
reaction
yeah, no
there.
reaction.
What max and minimum? That's so funny.
Thank you. The only thing I do have to say about this child though is obviously it is very known that a lot of people are not a fan of Kelly Piquet. Me included.
Is there a mediocre?
Um, a lot of people are not a fan of Kelly Piquet, and a lot of people are not a fan of their relationship due to the things that have come out about the relationship, about their age gap and when the relationship started. I'm very open with the fact that I'm not a fan of Kelly for other reasons as well. Her family are very problematic in multiple ways. Her father is also an ex F1 driver,
Yeah.
Nelson Piquet, as well as Max's dad, Jos Verstappen.
Yeah.
They were both ex racers, and questionable human beings. Let's just say that. As I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Kelly. Something that really disturbed me though is the amount of posts I saw talking about her pregnancy and how they hope that it doesn't continue.
Well,
if you get the gist of that.
Like
a lot of people were wishing for her to miscarry.
And
that is too far. That is way too far. You know, as I said, I'm not a fan of hers, but wishing that
on
yeah,
anyone,
we're not going to do that.
If you don't like a person, it's not fair to wish ill upon them.
No, it's not. Especially not and something as serious as that. As somebody who has unfortunately had to face that themselves, that is the worst thing to ever happen to anyone. And I would not, you know, I wouldn't call her my worst enemy. I don't know the woman. But if she was my worst enemy, that's still not something I would wish upon her because that is way, 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 way too far. But Kelly, I will also say, she made a post with this announcement. She put up the photo on her story, and she had kind of said some things in this story that she's still not my favorite person, but I definitely see her in a lighter light, I guess. And I do have a lot of respect for her for what she posted, and that was basically acknowledging that a lot of people might find this announcement hard or heartbreaking because they might have their own issues with fertility and that kind of thing, because this was a miracle for them. And she was just very sweet about it and saying that if people need to take the time, please do, and that she wishes that everyone that's struggling does get to have this. And it was a really, really nice post, and it did definitely make me, I responded to her story, I'll be honest, and I actually thanked her for it. I said, you know, this was actually very sweet of you, and I genuinely do hope, not just for Max's sake, for her sake and the child's sake, that she does have a happy and healthy pregnancy.
Yeah.
Congratulations to the both of them.
I always think like if this pregnancy is something that they really wanted, then like it should be celebrated.
Everyone was a little bit confused because obviously even recently Max had said that he's not ready for a child, that he doesn't want to still be racing when he starts his family because obviously his family will come first, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So this news definitely did shock everyone because it was very out of nowhere, and it then led to a lot of rumors of, oh my god, is Max retiring?
Oh, yeah.
So far, no. I don't trust it saying that. But yeah, congratulations to the two of them.
Yeah.
This is why the drivers' dinner became funny, is everyone joked about it being a gender reveal, and then the next day it actually
Okay.
came out that
Hello.
Max Verstappen is having a child, and technically it could have been a gender reveal.
Yeah.
But there was also quite a few Reddit posts about this pregnancy. Somebody said that Max was going to reveal the gender um, at Abu Dhabi Grand Prix by either spinning out an Alpine or a Williams, pink or blue. Which one? But yeah, other than that, everyone then joked about the fact that how dare George Russell speak about him like that, about and try and say that Max would threaten him because
Yeah.
Max has a family back home now. Max has a
Yeah.
child on the way. He would never do
He's a
that.
family man.
He's a family man. That's so fine. Um, but yeah, it was. I think that's the biggest thing to come out of Abu Dhabi, other than obviously McLaren taking home constructors, is next year Max Verstappen becomes a father.
That's so crazy.
So that's going to be really, really cool to
So
watch next season.
is she due like in?
I don't know. Nobody knows how far along she is.
Well, is she if she's not
She is
showing?
showing now.
So I'd
Yeah.
say probably like March.
No, a bit further than that.
May, June.
Yeah. So everyone's also kind
No,
of
no,
like,
no,
well,
no, no,
what's he
sorry.
going to do if it's a race weekend and she's due?
Maybe like July-ish. I'm guessing July.
Maybe. But yeah, other than that, that is the end of the 2024 season. Actually, no, I'm not done speaking about it because after the race weekend, we did testing. There was testing. Drivers tested.
Cool. What test?
Carlos Sainz tested in the Williams.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Carlos Sainz got into that Williams in an all-white suit because obviously contractual things are still in place, so he can't have any sponsors on his suit yet. Speaking of sponsors, though, actually quickly, running it back, Santander, who is a massive banking platform, especially in like Spain and that, Santander were a very long partner of Ferrari, a sponsor. They announced that they were not continuing it. Santander announced the other day they will now be sponsoring Williams. I wonder why.
So funny. They're following
Wonder
Carlos.
why. Yeah, Science Stander.
Stand up.
So yeah, he's got those. He's already bringing massive sponsors into Williams. I mean, he's got Estrella Galicia, the beer company, following him over there. It's going to be interesting to see. But he showed up in an all-white suit, in possibly the nicest helmet I've ever seen. This white helmet with his 55 logo and his name in silver. And my God, was it gorgeous. My God, was it the most gorgeous thing. It is. But also, Teto made it back for testing. So Teto was in the garage. But the biggest news about him, and obviously this whole Williams thing, is on his first day in Williams, a very special member of Team 55 was there. Gigi left Ferrari for Williams.
I was wondering when you were going to mention that.
Gigi left Ferrari for Williams. You're telling me this man who has built his career in Ferrari, this very, very passionate Italian man, has just left the Italian team for Carlos Sainz. He's gone to Williams.
Cute.
And let me tell you, he looks great in the Williams blue. Does he remind me of Ivan the tow truck from Cars? Yes. Even more so now with his moustache and in blue. But I love Gigi, and I love that Team 55 has stayed together. And I love that Teto just finished his last race in Super GT and flew straight back to Abu Dhabi to be with Carlos for his first day in Williams. And I love that Carlos looks so happy in Williams, and he's already yapping away, and he's already fixing that damn car himself. But also, the thing I'm proudest of, and I don't care what anyone says, that it's just testing times. It might just be testing times. But Carlos Sainz topped those fucking testing times in a
Yay!
Williams.
So he's proving that
In a damn
it can be
Williams. I don't think 2025. I being realistic, I don't think 2025 is the year for Williams, but I think 2026 onwards will be.
Yeah.
2025 is kind of that like
They're gonna work
getting
it
used to
out.
it. Yeah, they're working out the kinks. You know,
Yeah.
they've still a lot of financial debt, family crashes they've had this end of the season. Okay, 2026 is where we hit our
Yeah.
mark. But I think Carlos is going to be great for that team. I think that team is going to be great for Carlos, and I'm excited to see where this partnership leads. It was also really funny to see him chasing Leclerc in the Ferrari on track. It was almost like they were fucking with each other.
That's funny.
And it was really cute to see after all of that, because the C2 partnership was lovely. And I know that they miss each other already a little bit, but they'll still see each other. Carlos is going to be way happier in that Williams, and I'm excited.
It's gonna be
I love
exciting
supporting
to see
Williams.
new stuff.
And Williams color is a color that suits me. So
Yeah, it does. It's a very nice blue that
I'm
good.
yeah. I'm very lucky that I can pull off the McLaren papaya and the Williams blue. I'm gonna have a great year. I'm gonna have a great few seasons now. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. I feel like I don't want to end this because this
Yeah.
is the end.
Well, it's not the end, but the end so far.
It's the end of Race Rats.
Yeah.
It's been a really fun season, and even if our videos got 2 views,
it's been fun journey anyways.
Yeah.
It's been fun for us to just make them and be here and just have a chat.
and if you have been here, thank you. We appreciate
thank you.
every moment you spent with us. And as G said, this isn't the end. This is a rebrand for something new,
Yeah.
something exciting.
And if
And
you find this like in a few years after this has been filmed or something and just watching out of curiosity, thank you as well.
And we don't hate each other.
Yes, we don't.
That's not why this is happening.
No.
But yeah, that is the end of the 2024 season. That is the end of Race Rats. And I guess we'll see you next year.
Yeah.
Not soon. In months.
Yeah, but that'll be soon enough. It'll come by very quickly.
We'll see you in Melbourne.
Yeah. Exciting. You gotta do it with me.
I'm doing it for the final sign off. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we gotta. Ow.
Oh, let's try not to. I look like I'm not wearing a top, but I am. But I'm trying not to flash the camera at the same time.
We're gonna do both our little buggies together.
All right.
Wait, hold on. This is sad. Now I feel awkward. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.
It's been nice. Well, yeah.